This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi everyone, Rusty here at Meteo Mundo with a special update for our friends in the Bahamas with the opportunity for some severe storms to be moving in on this Sunday, February the 4th. So I'm recording this basically kind of live to tape, okay? So talking about what's happening right now and then how this is going to evolve in the Bahamas. This is what's going on in South Florida right now. You can see the time. I'm recording this right around 11:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, and I'm going to post this video right afterwards. But there is a severe weather situation developing in Southeast Florida, which is going to be moving across the Northwest Bahamas as we go into Sunday afternoon. Let me show you what's going on right now, okay? And again, this is our live Doppler radars here, and can show you everything. We've had several severe thunderstorm warnings developing here in the late morning hours headed towards the Metro Miami area. There's also been some tornado warnings that have also cropped up here recently as well, as again they've pushed closer to Miami. So kind of looking at the here and now right now, embedded within this line of severe storms, we do have a tornado warning which is very close right now to actually Metro Miami. It includes Miami Springs and areas to the north and to the west, but all of the red boxes that you see are severe thunderstorm warnings in that area, and a new tornado warning has just cropped up here a little bit south of that main line. There was also a tornado warning earlier in the Florida Keys. So this is an amped up system. There's a lot of energy to play with. There is rotation coming in with these storms as well. And this squall line, which has been producing winds of over 60 miles an hour in this tornado threat, will be moving offshore and into the Northwest Bahamas here as we get into the early afternoon hours. So this is why I'm coming on with this special update for my friends in the Bahamas. This would include the Bimini area as well, but certainly Grand Bahama and Abaco and Walker's Key and New Providence and Andros. Those are the areas with the best opportunity for these strong to severe storms and the opportunity for some waterspout and tornadic activity, because we'll continue to see rotation coming offshore as well. But again, here you can just see this is our smooth composite loop of the radar here, and you can see numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, numerous tornado warnings as well. I can actually also, this is the composite radar, so it's all the different radar sites. I can switch over to our individual radars here, and we'll take a look at what's happening from the Miami radar. So going to switch that on for you right now. Here it comes on. So this is out of the Miami radar. So basically we're looking at one site. Gives you a good indication of what's happening here. Again, all of our severe thunderstorm warnings. If I take those off real quickly here, give me just 1 second to do that. I'm going to switch those off. I can also show you that all of this area in purple is under a tornado watch. So again, very active weather. It does go a little bit farther north in Florida there, but you can just see these storms are beginning to exit the coastline, and they're moving fairly quickly off to the east, and they'll be impacting Bimini here fairly shortly. We can look at our spatial tool product here. I'll put this on, and again, from Miami to Bimini, you're looking at just a distance of about 50 miles, okay? And these storms are moving around that speed. So within the next hour, there is the opportunity that these storms get into the Bimini area. And then of course, they'll be moving to the north and to the east as well. Now, the storms hopefully are a little bit quieter when you get as far north as Grand Bahama, but even this part of the line is gonna be pretty active here. You can see, again, these storms are a little bit lagging behind. The reason why these storms are farther east is there's a stronger push of wind. We have what we call a bow echo here, and on the apex of that, we have stronger winds and more rotation. That's why we've had the severe thunderstorm warnings and the tornado warnings down in Miami. But these are still pretty nasty storms. Again, that would be basically due west of places like West End and Freeport. And again, 75 miles offshore, so it would be a couple of hours there. Now, this nasty line, friends, this nasty line goes all the way down through the Florida Keys and the Straits of Florida, and they are certainly in line to places like Andros and Nassau as well. So again, drawing that line from where we are right now, we're about 120 miles from Andros, and then we're about 160 miles from Nassau. So this is basically mid-afternoon that this squall line would be arriving. But the issue or the big problem here is, again, going to be the opportunity for some very strong winds, 50, 60 miles an hour, but also some tornadic activity as well. We can also look at here, again, I've got access to all the different radar sites. We can switch over to, this is the Key West radar. So we're going a little bit farther south. It'll take just a second for this to loop up, but you can see how nasty this squall line is from the Key West radar here. And I believe I can loop this up as well. It might take a second, but there you go. So this is the loop here kind of developing from the Key West radar. And this is a solid squall line that will go deep into the northwest Bahamas. Now, again, obviously the farther east that you live, it's going to take a little bit longer in time. But again, I wanted to come on and do this because this is going to be a very high-end situation for the northwest Bahamas. We are going to have a line of storms producing easily 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. Obviously, surf and sea conditions going to be really kicked up, but there's opportunity here for some tornadic activity as well. Waterspouts, and obviously with some rotation coming back in to Grand Bahama and Abaco and Eleuthera and Andros and New Providence and the Bimini areas as well. So I can show you a couple of different models here. We'll go over to the HRR model. I'm going to take 1 second and I'm just going to zoom out because it's the easiest thing for me to do here. And then I'm going to switch back over and we'll zoom back in. Now again, the purples that you're seeing, those are your current tornado watches that are currently in effect. And again, through time, it will change. Let me switch off the main timeline. And you can see that all of this is live. This is all, you know, again, in the 11 a.m. hour here. But I'm going to switch over to the model and I'm going to, we'll back up to 10 a.m. and then we'll go out until this evening. And this is going to be our high resolution rapid refresh model. Okay, so this model updates every hour, high resolution imagery, and it's a very good model. I depend on it a lot for the Bahamas. So we'll kind of stair step this and how it's going to be evolving. And again, your timeline is on the top left hand side of your screen. So as we get towards noon, these storms will be moving offshore. Again, they're moving somewhere around 40 to 50 miles an hour, but the storms down in Miami could be moving even faster with a strong push of westerly winds, causing those storms to kind of race ahead of the main line. Sorry about that, got ahead of myself. All right, so now the time frame that we're talking about, as we get towards the early afternoon, that's when these storms begin to impact places like Walker's Key and Grand Bahama, including Freeport, Lacaya, High Rock, and West End. These storms will be covered off over Bimini, and then of course they'll be traversing off towards the east at 40 to 50 miles an hour. So mid to late afternoon for places like Nassau and Androstown and Dunmoretown. And again, all of these areas have the opportunity for strong to severe storms, including some tornadic activity, waterspouts. And you can see the model actually makes these storms even a little bit stronger, almost tries to line them back up later this evening. But I do expect this to be a solid, very healthy line of storms moving through the central and the northwest Bahamas the remainder of this Sunday. So that's what it looks like on the model. We can look at the winds as well. As I have mentioned many times, that's a huge part of this system. So as you would expect, with this squall line coming through, it's going to be producing some very strong winds. Anything in the yellows or higher are going to be winds that'll be gusting over 30 knots. And I expect that to absolutely happen here across the northwest Bahamas with the main line. Again, maybe it breaks up a little bit. I don't expect that. This is going to be a solid line of storms that'll be moving through this area through the remainder of the afternoon hours. And again, this line has already prompted several severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings in southern and southeast Florida. So you can see the winds there. I want to go back over to this reflectivity because again, this is being prompted by not only a front, but a deepening area of low pressure coming through the northeast Gulf of Mexico, which is only going to get stronger as we get into Monday and Tuesday. And I want you to see what the HRR model is doing. Now, this system is not coming in clean, meaning it's not coming in just one chunk. There's going to be waves of energy, impulses coming through the eastern Gulf of Mexico. And then look what happens Monday into Tuesday. I mentioned this in the last video I did. Look at this spin up right here over the northern Bahamas. This is rough weather for the next 3 days. The strongest storms will come in today. But look as we get into tomorrow and then early on Tuesday with this almost I feature. Again, it's a mid-latitude cyclone. This is not hurricane season. Again, this is going to be all at the mid levels, but this is going to be an extremely impressive wind maker if it can wrap up like this. The winds, again, could be gale force in the northern Bahamas Monday and Tuesday. So you've got the strong to severe storms today. And then if this low can really ramp up like the HRRR model is showing, you've got more storms and even some gale force winds, especially for the extreme northwest Bahamas like Walker's Key, Grand Bahama, and Abaco. Certainly could be impacting places like Eleuthera, New Providence Town, and Andros and Bimini as well. But that is a very strong storm. It really is quite impressive here, the dynamics associated with it. There's several products that I can show you here. This is a lightning product. So you can see again, and I'm just going to let this kind of run through, that there will be some storms involved with this. I mean, obviously here, there'll be at least a little bit of lightning coming in with this as well, and you can see that skirting in. So lightning will be involved with it. This is what we call surface cape. This is a good idea of some of the energy that's associated with this system as it rolls through. And again, a fair amount of that. There's just instability in the atmosphere. It's one of the ingredients in severe storms. And we have that not only at the surface, but if we take a look at kind of the entire column of instability here from the surface to the higher levels of the atmosphere, again, you can see as these storms come in, the cape or the instability begins to increase as well. So this is a very potent storm system, all coming together. Again, I'll look at a lot of these different things behind the scenes, but everything is lining up for this to be a very nasty system. Let me go back again here and switch over to the radar one more time. So again, I want to look at this. Let me take off the satellite data. So again, recording this in real time. Going to go back over and I'll put that live on air for you right now here. Let's see. I see. So I'm looping at 6 hours. So I'm going to just knock down that loop to just 2 hours here. And again, we'll get a good indication of what's going on. I'm going to put back on the severe thunderstorm warnings and the tornado warnings. And again, we can actually just look at this in real time. Actually, let me just get this down to an hour loop so we get an even better idea. So you can see again, this tornado warning is rolling right through Miami as we speak. And again, I have a lot of different things that I can, look at when it comes to severe weather here at Meteo Mundo. It's why we've invested in the technology that we've invested in. It does look like as of 11:30, some of the tornado warnings have expired. That's good news. But again, still very, very nasty weather through Miami. And the biggest point is that this storm system is now coming offshore and headed towards Bimini. So there is a possibility that I will be going live on the channel later this afternoon, probably not too long from now, to cover these storms. That's another point that I want to highlight. If you know anyone who lives in the Northwest Bahamas, give them a heads up. Let them know that this weather is coming. Have them become a member of the channel. Subscribe, and they'll keep up to date. I'll keep you up to date here. I promise you that. Again, with these storms. And it's not just one day. It's a couple days of really, really nasty weather that's going to be rolling on through. But again, you can just see here back into motion that these storms are going to be packing a punch for the entire Bahamas. Now, I will not leave the video without getting into what's going to be happening for the rest of the Caribbean. We won't get into it detail in here, but if you give me 1 second, I'm going to switch over and we'll take a look at kind of a broader view here. And as I do so, again, I appreciate you guys liking the video. I appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel if you're already not a subscriber. So I mentioned it in the last video. This is the most potent storm system that we've had coming through the southeast United States and the Bahamas. And this cold front is going to have large scale impacts for the rest of the Caribbean through the week ahead. You can see that. It's going to take a minute just for the model. There's a lot of data here over the next 5 days to pick up. But again, massive area of low pressure developing in the northern Bahamas, cold front trailing it, pushing northerly winds. Some of you have already said it's getting a little bit cooler in your area. It's going to get a little bit cooler. It's also going to be getting wetter for a lot of us. This is going to drive moisture deep into the Caribbean for us here, and then pushing even into places like Hispaniola and Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands as we get deeper into the week. So again, that's something I'll be monitoring here. I realize I still have the main time frame on. I'll switch to the model time frame. This is out over the next 5 days. So again, here it is today, storm system blasting through, a couple of pieces of energy for the Bahamas over the next few days, and then everything south and east. But there is a good part of the Caribbean that will pick up a northerly breeze from this system and some showers and even a few storms as well. Again, friends, you can follow us. Let me get rid of that. Let me just say real quick again, you can follow us throughout all of our social media, and I will also be, again, potentially coming back live. Look for a post here at Meteo Mundo if I am to be covering these storms live in the Bahamas. So again, make sure you have the notifications on and you'll know when that's happening. Thanks, friends. I appreciate this. Again, I'm going to go upload this right now. We'll be keeping a close eye on our friends in the Bahamas and then the rest of the Caribbean throughout the rest of the week. Have a great rest of your day, friends, and I'll see you soon.